There we go, welcome back to another Carriage Motor Railway review. Today we're going to finally start on the N-gauge stuff. Why not let it be the first of our N-gauge models? Alright, so it's been about 2 or so years since I originally acquired this. Was supposed to get this done a bit earlier, but some delays, especially in the processes in creating these videos. So when we first unboxed the train set of this model, which was our first video, pack number 10019, we just got the 4 carriages as seen in the shot at the moment. Let's take a look at the other packs that come as part of this so that we can complete the full 16 carriage rake. Right, so the first pack you get with for the Shinkansen N700A is the powered unit, which is a 4 carriage set, either available as a train set or as a standalone unit. Extras pack 2 are 4 additional carriages to continue the rake into an 8-car unit. And then the final expansion pack, which is the last 8 carriages to complete the 16 carriage long N700A Nozomi express services. Right, so not too bad at all. We're just going to have a quick chat about the 4-car rake at the moment before we continue on the video. We'll get back to the desk and have a look at close up, and then we'll do some more testing and all that sort of stuff, and the review, completing the review with its full 16 carriage rake. In this form, it works really well. It fits the platform nicely. And it's not too bad. Obviously really unrealistic though, they would have never run in a 4 carriage rake, but other than that, not too bad. Still looks as good as since it first came on. Still runs as nicely as when it came out of the box, especially after it was ran in. And there's really nothing wrong with it. This model specifically doesn't have anything that you have to put onto it. Everything is out of the box ready to run with all the details already on it. So yeah, not too bad at all. So let's head over to the desk and we'll have a closer look on the models. And I know we'll actually open up the motor unit as well. Alright, time for a close look and the good of these N700 models. For this section we're going to utilise 2 carriages from each box. So carriages 110 in the foreground, which is from box 1, and carriages 5 and 7 from box 2, which is in the which is behind it. Alright, now that we're in nice and closely, we can actually have a look at some of these details. So we can see the very crisp moulding, having the nose profile very nice. As we move along the sides, you will notice as the fineness of the decal application is gorgeous. Very sharp corners on the paint job, so it's nice and clear, no oversprays, and it's nice and in the pristine glossy effect. You get your printed N700A up the end of the carriages, being an advanced unit, and printed carriage numbers and yeah, printed carriage numbers for both being carriage formation number 1 and the carriage unit for whatever unit this may be, visible on all carriages. On the roof you can see there's also a number 1 fitted to it. That's actually I'm pretty sure that those don't exist in real life. That's more for a model train formation, so that you can see where what's it called, make it easier to when you're putting it onto the tracks and stuff. But going through, carriage number 10 is our motor unit. So we'll have a separate look at the motor unit as well as opening it up to do a bit service on ease of service. You can see the couplings as well, nice and clear, nice and close coupled. They actually look like they're coupled up together and not the wide gap sort of thing. Pristine sort of look on the carriages again. One of the good things about this motor specifically is it's nice and quiet in operation, very very smooth as well. It is the only power unit in the whole train. They only use a single power unit. You get also a little desto bar, I think the desto or carriage information displays. So we can see a better look of the couplings. These are their modernized couplings, as they called it. It's a newer version to what they use on some of their other models, but it's more specific for the 700s slash N700s releases, I've noticed. N700S, I suppose it should use the same thing, and so does the 300 actually. Moving along to the other set of carriages, onto carriage number 7. You can see we have got the massive sort of emptiness bay. Following along as usual, it's still very pristine, very nice, very shiny. Undercarriage detail is as needed, and then you've got things like your bogies, which are also pretty well detailed. We may put in another cut of that because of the angle of the camera is not easy to see that. Once again, close coupling. You've got your pantograph on this on carriage number 5. This is the first of the 2 pantograph carriages on the train. Single arm pan. Obviously doesn't actually work. There's no electronics in it, nor is there any springs in it to allow it to pop up. It is just you pop it up manually, and it holds held together by friction basically. You also have the 2 guards on the side, being those 2 things right there on each side of the carriage. The pan, those are pre-fitted from the box. As I say, the goods of the model is it looks really nice, it runs really well. What's it called? And it's really quiet as well in operation. Working headlights on the front unit, and in reverse working tail lights. Other than that, I think that's realistically all. There's not really that much you can say about them because they are of the quality of what we expect. So we'll quickly jump into a few things that I am not 100%, which have been either problems or yeah. So that sort of thing. Onto the, as we can call it, the bad side, or the things that could be improved. Realistically, not much can be improved on these models. These models are pretty decent for, especially compared to the other Shinkansens which I have acquired over the years. There pretty much hasn't been any issues with the N700A. It's been a pretty perfect model ever since it came out of the box. Of course, this is based on the 2 years of operation, the 1-2 years of operation that I've had with the model. Main thing that is a cause of concern though is the use of traction tires on the center on the powered wheels on the power unit. More of an HO00 thing. We don't really use it much. We prefer having either extra units for power or extra weight, as they're prone for perishing. Don't know how these are going to go. Of course, it doesn't seem like it's have any problems yet. Doesn't seem like it's going to fall off, but we'll see what happens in the future. Any updates to that will be put in the comments. everything else seems to be as expected with it. Nothing wrong. Coupling system is nice and simple to use. Uncoupling is nice and simple as well. Just a little bit of force is needed. Just a bit worried on making sure, just hoping that the couplings do withstand the use. It is not so good when you're pulling them apart. It is a bit worried. It does feel like it's going to break something. See how that goes as well in the future. So yeah, not really, basically nothing bad I can really say. The fragility of pantographs as well. I've had this style of pantograph just ping off in the box randomly, so it's just something to more or less be wary about. But these are high precision models, so yeah. We're going to have a quick chat about opening up the power unit and a few other things that can be done with the model. Alright, so we've just got carriage number 10, the motor unit now. So let's go and have a attempt at opening it. First things first, the motor unit, along with all the other carriages, do have pickups. Does allow you to add something like this. This is Kato's 212, the LED lighting kit. This is the cool lighting. So the 6 in this pack, they combine them in single packs as well. They basically wire into the inside of the model, through connecting through the little pins and the pickups, allowing you to have interior lighting. So one of those. There will be a future video on this coming up, and a future bulk, like sort of just doing a whole lot of them sort of thing, as like a behind the scenes sort of thing. When that happens, not sure, but be sure to look out for that. And when the first look of them, or how we use this pack, is available, you'll see a link in the top right hand corner. Anyways, let's have a quick look around. So the model is pretty nicely well put together. There is definitely nothing that looks really like joints and so on. Underneath the model, you can see though, you can see all the gears already. So that makes it easy for servicing. You don't actually need to open it for servicing. Opening is primarily for if there's an actual problem, or wanting to fit your lights. So also you have this little cap here that allows you to check a few other things. You can see your drive shaft, and sort of when you have issues with, like, if the model doesn't want to operate after you've done slow speed moving, you can use a little push on this and it will start moving again. That usually means the motor's gone stuck on the dead zone, as they call it, because these are 3-pole motors, if I recall. So the motor is a small flush one, sits at the bottom here. So yeah, let's quickly get it open. So getting open is pretty simple, for at least for these ones. The whole body is held down by clips, so don't be too forceful with it, because of course you can break it, but just a little bit of motivation, it gets the clips unlocked. That takes the top off. So we have the interior seating here. This interior seating will have to be removed if you want to go any further. This also includes, I'm not 100% sure with the lighting. Lighting is actually shown in the instructions on how to do it. I'm pretty sure there's a chance you can probably fit them through here, but I'm not 100% sure. Again, look out for the follow-up video on this. You've got 4 clips on each side for the seating. That will come off, and then you've got another 4 more clips to remove this bottom frame. This frame will then allow you to basically get into the bogies areas, so you can either replace the bogies if something was to ever go wrong with them, or replace the drive shafts, or the motor itself. We'll not be opening it any further than this, because the other thing to look out for is you have got springs here. These springs hold the coupling mechanism. If you lose them, have fun. It's they do ping off pretty easily. This model has been opened previously because it was having a few slight mechanical issues. Surprisingly, I think it may have been a servicing issue more. So it's more servicing models basically. The bogies and gearboxes are all one thing. You can't actually, well, at least I haven't been able to open them up. So if one thing was to fail, like you have a split gear, it seems like you will have to replace the whole bogie rather than just replace that little gear. I do understand that. These are very, very miniature gears. They are really impractical to maintain, so you rather just replace them. But then again, it also makes it so it's a bit more harder, especially for someone that's not in Japan specifically, having to get the parts imported rather than just getting a little gear imported. They're they are very well made models though. Now, the bottom frame does come off first, so you can remove the bottom frame pretty easily. Again, you've got 4 clips on it. So I will just for the sake of this video, we'll take the bottom frame off so that we can have a quick look. I do not want to take the seats off because, especially to camera, if I lose these springs, this thing will not work properly ever again. So I'd rather not do that. Again, same sort of technique, pulling apart from the frame, pulling the clips out. Not too much force, just enough that you can see that it's been motivated out. And there we go, that's the bottom frame, and that's the chassis and the motor assembly. So you can see the drive shafts are here, the 2 bogies. So to remove the bogies, you would need have to remove the cover, the internal seating. But yeah, so that's basically the bare bone model. Putting the model back together is actually quite simple as well. You basically do everything in opposite. What also helps, other than the main chassis, which doesn't have one, so once you take this off, you won't have it. Also, that's now jumping out. There is an arrow on all the components. You can see there, the arrow is facing to go that way. The arrow here is facing to go that way, and there's also an arrow on the shell. This makes it very easy for putting it back together, so that you make sure your orientation is going to be always correct. So, very nice little feature of this model. Alright, welcome back. So we've got all 16 carriages now lined up. You can see it's actually rather long. The end of the train is still in frame, so not too bad at all. So with the Kato units anyways, they use a single drive motor, which is carriage number 10 on this unit. So approximately, it's closer to the rear end of the train rather than the front. These trains are dual-ended, so you can operate them in any way. Alright, so as usual, we're going to do a crawl test. We're going to have it run on all 16 carriages, because that's what's supposed to run on it. So, let's see how it goes. We're not going to do any voltage testing for this one. Purely since, for one, we're using a different controller. We're using the Kato SX, which is actually a PWM controller. So the model is moving, and you can see it's jolting forward rather than smoothly moving. This is at approximately 10 o'clock on the controller. So, but as the track seems to level out, it actually speeds up without touching it. It can do a slower. This is at approximately 9:30 on the controller, so we just have a decent crawl. Not that you'll be running something like this at crawl that often. Crawl will be more useful in especially things like their steam locomotives and actually all their locomotives, which may be seen in a future video. But other than that, not too bad for what it is. But some of the jumping could partly be attributed due to the use of traction tyres. Also, there's a chance that it's either not on the tracks or something is wrong, because that noise wasn't what it was sounding like earlier. Right, that's something interesting. So if I just slow the pan down and focus on the power unit, which I can't find, there is a slight gear noise currently occurring, which wasn't actually happening from the beginning of the video. I think one of the gears is slightly slipping for some reason, so that's an interesting little thing. Alright, after that little kerfuffling, I think I've got it working mostly like normal again. Basically, a little service was needed. Let's do a quick weight test. This is just going to be the motor, because realistically that's the only thing that matters in terms of tractive force. Comes at approximately 67 grams, which is actually pretty interesting, knowing the amount of weight it actually has to pull. Right, let's have a talk about availability. Acquiring a train like this now is not the easiest. Kato manufactures their models in batches, so the N700A has since been kind of replaced in terms of its manufacturing by the N700S, which was last year's model, or the start of the year, is one of those two. So if you would like an N700A, just wait up until their next model. Some stock lists may still have them in stock, but acquiring the extra carriages might also be a bit of a problem. As I say, they are still around, but Kato will probably bring them back out again. They've been pretty well on manufacturing at least one of each type per year lately. For example, this year was the 500 series. Alright, so let's close some thoughts on this video. What do I think? They're not too bad at all. They're really, as a starter set, sorry, they're really quite a good way to start in the hobby. Of course, the problem is seeing that this is a DMU, EMU sort of thing. You're limited on what you can do when it comes to a what's it called? When as a starter set, but as a thing to run around on the table, it's actually a really cool thing. 16 carriages, as I say, is a bit too heavy for that single motor, but it can deal with it on the flats pretty decently and definitely deal with it at a good speed. The part looks very accurate to what it is. These new style couplings haven't failed on me yet. They are definitely don't look like they are that strong, but they haven't failed on me yet, so it seems like they are rather good. Yeah, honestly, there's nothing really else I can talk about it. They've got decent detail even on the insides, and other than that, yeah, it looks like, especially for the size it is, it's not bad at all. If it was in H-Show, it might be a bit different saying on some of the details, because a lot of the details are just molded, but molded details, at least they're there, sort of thing. But in this sort of size, it kind of makes sense to be molded. Putting a lot of these separate parts, they would just ping off and disappear forever. So, yeah, not too bad of a model at all. We definitely wouldn't mind to check out what the N700S is like. They should be pretty much almost the same, just a slightly different the shape is slightly sharper and slightly different paint job, but other than that, they pretty much should be mostly the same anyways. If there's anything else that you've noticed in this video or the last video, be sure to put that in the comments below. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the N700A from Kato. Thank you for watching. We'll catch you all, well, next time.